Hello everyone, welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. Alright, this evening we're looking at a nano tank that has a group of cherry barbs which I fed exclusively live fish food, so they're robust and vigorous and of considerable size. Just look at that female there. She is so fat and full of eggs. I'm hoping to have spawn in this carpet of Java moss here. There is definitely an alpha male in here. This fellow right there, I believe, who protects that territory. Now it could be that one, I forget, but it's one that pushes the others away and is constantly sparring and chasing females. There you go. You see what I'm saying? That's it. So it was that male and versus the other one. But this is fairly acceptable behavior during courtship, particularly when you have this many and they're all in adult and spawning size and breeding colors, etc. Now, I had taken several of these out, two females and a male, and put them in a smaller tank specifically for spawning, but that experiment did not work, and I found that that tank was too small and the fish were just hiding behind rocks, and the male was by himself out front and the two fat females were basically hiding, and I wasn't comfortable with that arrangement, so I put them back into this tank. That's somewhat of a problem because there's simply too many in here, so I have to figure out another strategy soon. I think maybe move a couple into a community tank to thin out this herd, if you will. But for now I have them in here, and I'm accepting some of this aggressive behavior, which I know is somewhat typical for this species of fish, but still, while I do like to overstock and overplant to compensate for the overstocking, I'm aware that there's probably at least 3 more fish in here than ideal, so I'm thinking I need to do something. But in the meantime, I will keep feeding a lot of live food, which should mitigate some of this aggressive behavior, as well as put them into a very spawning mode. And I'm positive there's been some spawning in that area there and maybe elsewhere, but with all these fish, the eggs are probably going to be consumed before anything could ever hatch, which is why I tried my individual mini tank, trying to replicate conditions I saw on YouTube. It seemed ideal to me, but it just wasn't working. So in that small tank, I put a pair of clown killifish, of which I've had monumental success with, and I'll do a video of all of that soon. But for now, it's this breeding project with cherry barbs, which is considered a relatively easy egg scattering fish. And so I'm a bit at odds. I think they like this tank and the conditions. There's just too many fish. So I got to figure something out. Hopefully do that sooner than later. Just for the record, you see the Java moss, you see a beautiful clump of Anubias petite and then Java fern, and I have some crypts in here and an Amazon sword back there, as well as a few stem plants, common stem plants in the back. And I'm running a sponge filter now as opposed to the hang on back I used to have. With all the tanks that I keep, a sponge filter is simply way easier to maintain because you don't have to maintain it. When you have a heavily planted tank, you could leave them in there quite some time before having to even consider cleaning them. And so that's a great value add. Now, I'd love to see that male corral the fat female into his bed there, as it were. And I'm hoping for precisely that, in which case I might create a trap for the eggs using any number of, like a cup with a sieve and then the moss above it, or I might just try to capture eggs right from the situation we see here, which pretty much won't work. You know, dumb idea, fail before it even happened. If I tried getting the eggs from a live tank like this, I can't imagine success. I do have a breeder box here on the side, which I could put eggs. In theory, I was gonna put a pair into that breeder box and just put some moss in there and see what happens. I've seen that on YouTube and success. Right now I've just got some cherry shrimp and assorted mosses in there. So that's where I'm at. What can I say? Comments, tips, thoughts. I know there's too many fish, so I don't need to hear about it. And I'm working on it, and it wasn't the plan. I had another plan, but I had to go into an alternative strategy for reasons previously discussed. Folks, that's the hobby. It's always about learning and trying to make your fish happy and also become wiser in the ways of the fish. And per usual, keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.